Hello, my name is Peter Milton and I am the developer of Time Chainage. This is the final video in a three-part tutorial on formatting a Time Chainage chart, in which we look at the Chart Setup Dialog and all of its options. In parts 1 and 2 we looked at the first 8 tabs on the Chart Setup Dialog. In this video we will examine the remaining 4. Right, let's get started. I have a project open in Time Chainage that currently has the formatting that we set in parts 1 and 2. If you haven't seen them yet, then don't forget to do so. We will go to the Chart Setup dialog via the Format menu and select Chart Setup. In the first 2 parts of this tutorial, we examine the tabs from Axis across to Images. We will now open the Activities tab. This tab gives you some options for formatting the activities, the main one being the line format. In the line format section, you select the line colours, widths and styles scheme you want to use by selecting WBS or one of the activity codes. You can create layouts that show different aspects of the project by using these options. Whichever option you choose, the title block legend will reflect those values. By default, the line option is set to the work breakdown structure. In this project, the WBS values represent the construction works, e.g. shaft sinking, tunnelling, etc. In this project, activity code 1 is for work gangs. Let's select activity code 1 and exit the dialog. This colour scheme shows the different gangs employed on the project. Going back to the Chart Setup dialog again, I will put the line format back to WBS. The box hatching section allows you to make the hatching lines width different to the activity border width. This can give a neater look. In this layout, the structure's west and east activity boxes are hatched. By default, the hatching lines are the same width as the activity outline. We will click the As Specified Below option, and then we can specify a line width. The default value is 1, and we will use that. Let's exit the dialog to apply the setting. It may not be very clear on YouTube, but if I zoom in a bit, it should be more clear. Hopefully you can see that the hatching is now different to the box border width. We will zoom back out to the full chart and return to the chart setup. We can show the critical path as a different colour and line width. To show the critical path, just check the Show Critical Path tick box. We will leave the default width and colour options, but these can be changed if you wish. You can show a black border around box tasks instead of the default coloured border. We will select this option to demonstrate the look. With the milestone size control, you have 5 options for the size of diamond-shaped milestones. We will leave it at medium. Let's exit the dialog to apply the settings. The activities shown in red are on the project critical path. You can combine this option with the critical path filter on the toolbar. Let's turn off the filter. The box activities now have black borders. Let's return to the Chart Setup dialog. The Constrain Width option is there to limit the activity line widths shown on the computer display. For example, you may find that activity lines with a width of say 20 pixels is suitable for the prints and PDFs that you are producing, but it would look too wide for the computer display. I will demonstrate by turning the constraint off. I will exit the Chart Setup dialog so we can see the chart. As you can see, with the line width constraint turned off, some of the activity lines are very wide. This option does not affect the print or PDF output. Let's return to the Chart Setup and look at baselines. First I will put the line width constraint back on. and hide the critical path. Then open the Baselines tab. You can have up to 3 baselines in time chainage. Any that you do have will show in the description boxes here. In this project we have just the one baseline called Original Contract Program. There is a checkbox for showing the baseline activities and a checkbox for showing the baseline annotations. We will check the Show Tasks box. If you are going to show both the plan, schedule and baseline together on the chart, you may want to have the baseline annotation turned off. We will leave it off as we will show the baseline and the current plan together. The line format option allows you to show the baseline in the colour set in the Manage Baselines dialog, or use the same colour scheme as the current layout. Our current layout uses the WBS scheme. We will select the default baseline colour, and this will make it obvious what is the baseline and what is the current plan. We will exit the dialog to see the chart. The baseline is shown in orange because that was the colour set in Manage Baselines. We can hide the current plan and show only the baseline by unchecking the planned filter on the toolbar. Now the orange colour is less helpful. Let's return to the chart setup and change the look. We will check the Show Annotation button and select the line format as WBS or Activity Code. We will leave the dialog. Now we have the baseline with the WBS colour scheme and the annotation. I will turn the planned filter back on just to prove this is the baseline. We will return to the Chart Setup dialog and hide the baseline. The next tab is Convention. In time chainage, time is always shown on the vertical axis and distance is always shown on the horizontal axis. However, we can specify the time and distance directions. By default, increase in time goes down the vertical axis and increase in chainage goes from left to right on the horizontal axis. You can change the time direction to going up, and you can change the chainage direction from increasing from right to left. Any combination is allowed. Let's choose up for time and right to left for chainage. We will look at the chart to see the effect. As can be seen, increase in time now goes in an upward direction and the chainage increases from right to left. The default values give you the convention most people will be used to, but there is no right and wrong with this, so use what works best for your project and layout. There is one more tab to examine, so let's return to the Chart Setup dialog. First, I will reset the convention back to the default values. Then open the Range tab. Here you can set margins for the auto range control. Let's return to the chart first before we change anything. There is an auto range control on the toolbar, which by default will fit all of the activities into the chart window. I will demonstrate by turning the auto range on. All of the activities are captured, but they extend fully to the top, bottom and each side of the chart. This control takes account of any filters you have running. So to demonstrate this, let's go to the Filters dialog. In the main menu we go to Format, then select Filters. In the WBS Code Filters section, we will select Shaft Finishings. We make sure the Apply box is ticked, then press OK to apply the filter. Now we have a chart window that fits to just the shaft finishing works. The auto range control is a very handy feature, but you might want to show a bit of space around the edges of the chart. This is controlled by the chart margins. Let's return to the Chart Setup dialog for one last time and set some margins. We will set the chainage margin to 100 meters and the date margin to 20 days. We will exit the dialog to see the chart. Now we have some space around the edges of the chart. Let's turn off the shaft finishings filter. We go to the Format menu and select Filters. We then uncheck the Apply filter for the WBS code. And we press OK. As you can see, we have the full project, but we also still have the margins. Remember, all of the chart setup options that we select can be saved in a layout. To save the formatting we have just done to this layout, we simply press the Save Layout button on the toolbar. Well, that is our deep dive into the chart setup dialog completed. We will soon have more videos on formatting, annotation, and also the title block. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you found this video helpful. Time chainage. Add in an extra dimension to your schedules.